What's up guys, I got a new project that I'm just starting and I wanted to do an introduction video because it's going to be kind of a massive undertaking, so I thought I'd kind of break it up into a couple videos instead of boring you with one long 20-minute video. What I'm using as a base gun is a Snow Wolf M82, so the 50 cal Barrett basically. So the way the gun comes, it's an AG, it has a version 2 gearbox. What basically it is they took an M4 and shoved it inside this gun. You could tell that by first the gearbox, standard version 2 as far as I understand. The grip here, you could tell it's a regular M4 grip. And the magazine looks really massive, but when you look inside, it just has a tiny Vietnam style M4 shorty mag here. Something like this, which this is a mid cap, and I'll explain that later. The plan is to get the gearbox, get it out of here. I'm going to keep this one because it's fully functional. I've used this gun just a handful of times, never in a game, just backyard shooting. Set aside, and I might put in a different gun. On that gun I have fried a version 2 gearbox. So this is going to be the donor box. They look identical and they should function identical. So I'm going to hopefully get 2 guns out of this by using a good gearbox and the salvage gun I have, and using the bad gearbox as a host for this, which is going to power this whole thing. This is a Protech MKII HPA engine. I'm not an expert in it. All I know is it runs off compressed air and hopefully CO2. I believe it's functional with CO2, and I have a plan to possibly put an in-stock CO2 system here. But the guys at Protech were nice enough to send me one of these. They even engraved my logo in here, which I think looks super awesome. The only downside is that when this is installed in this gun, the dust cover, the fake bolt covers it. So unfortunately I'm not going to see this too often once it's in the gun, but I love how it looks and I really appreciate them sending this over and even custom engraving it. So it comes with everything I need: the unit that's going to go inside the gearbox, the wiring to go from the FCU to the battery and to the unit itself, and the trigger switchboard, which will relay the signals from the trigger to the rest of the unit. So it's a drop-in unit. Hopefully that's how it goes. I'm not an expert in HPA, so I'm going to keep that part off camera, but I will link to some good HPA installation videos from Airsoft. That's going to be the main thing that's driving this gun. You all know the benefits of high pressure air systems. They're very consistent from shot to shot. They're very low signature, which I guess could be good for this gun, and they're adjustable. I could crank this thing up to 400 FPS and I could take it to any field, or if I go to a field that has maybe a 550 DMR sniper limit, then I could go up to that. So I have the gun in 3 parts here. It comes apart really easy. I'm not going to bother showing you that part. You basically take out a pin in the front, or take out a pin in the back, pin in the front, and undo maybe 1 screw to get the barrel loose, and then everything just slides out. So you got the top, barrel, and lower here. First thing on the barrel, when we're done, this orange tip has to come off. I've already basically removed it, so it pops off. It's going to get replaced with this style. I think it's the newer style, maybe M107 style compensator. Anyway, it's a proper compensator for this gun. So is this, but this is obviously in a much more pleasant, non-burn your eyes out orange color. The magazine, that's the next thing. This gun comes with a high cap magazine, which doesn't make sense to me. It's a DMR sniper rifle, whatever you want to call it, and the high cap just seems so out of place. And I hate high caps. They're noisy. You have to wind them. They never feed as good as a mid cap. So since this is just a shorty M4 mag in here, I've purchased a mid cap to match it. I think this is about 100 rounds. It's a GNP, I think. I'll have links to everything, of course. But once you take it out of the shell, it seems to be identical to this thing, which is an M4 mag without the shell. So hopefully I'll be able to pull this out, put in the mid cap, and then I'll have a mid cap mag that doesn't make noise, that feeds well, and that fits in the gun like it's supposed to. Next, I'll go external first. So next I'll change the grip. I could not find a picture of this style grip on a Barrett. This is kind of an HK style grip of the PSG one. I think that's its claim to fame. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this on here. It's more of a sniper grip. It has an adjustable height for this base here that you rest your hand on, and it doesn't have the knob that I hate so much on these old school M4 grips. And then for the top, I got this overly ridiculously huge 50mm scope that's I believe 4 to 16 zoom, because you know you need that 16 zoom in an airsoft so you can see the inside the guy's pores. Since I'll have the gearbox apart, I'm going to put in a flat trigger. This is an APS style trigger. This does nothing except for look cool, and hopefully it'll be a little more responsive to the finger maybe. We'll see. I have no idea. It just looked cool, so I thought I'd drop it in there while I have it open. So internally, like I said, it's going to be powered by this Protech MKII engine, which I'm going to wire out to the FCU and the battery. I have so much space in this stock here, this area between the gearbox and the shoulder pad. I'm going to put a big 7.4 volt battery in here, as well as the FCU controls and everything. So when I need to get to the gun, I pull out one pin and I should be able to plug in the battery and mess with the FCU. Gonna run the line out here, out the back instead of the grip, just because it minimizes that look of the HPA system. I really hate lines, as you could tell from all my previous guns. So I want to make this as clean as possible. It coming out here, resting against the stock, it's going to be very minimal, just against your body. There's not going to be a line coming out from the middle of your gun somewhere. Then to get the accuracy, I have this 750 millimeter inner barrel, which actually is a little short for this outer. You could probably go another maybe 10 centimeters even if you could find it. It's a ZCI. I've used one of these in my SRS and it seems to give me good performance, so I'm happy with it. I'm gonna R-hop it, and the barrel is gonna go inside this Pro-Win hop hop. I've never used one, but I've heard really good things about it. I like the idea of fewer moving parts and the up and down tuning versus the spinny wheel, which seems to be easier to get to. One thing I'm going to experiment with, if everything's installed right and everything works, I might try to drop in a CO2 unit in here. This is what it basically looks like. It's a Palmer's Pursuit regulator, low pressure. You could get it down to as low as 20 psi, which should be good for this system. It runs off a CO2 cartridge that screws into the system here. Got a pressure gauge, and you can see it fits in here very nicely. This line could run back then to the unit, and possibly I could have an in-stock setup. The problem with this is it only takes a 12-gram cartridge, so it's really small. I'm guessing I could probably get about 100 shots from one of these cartridges, which is actually not too bad for something like this, but changing the peel is going to be kind of a pain. So definitely not sold on this idea. I might experiment with it before I commit to anything. But the nice thing is it would not require a remote line. So the next step is to build this. Obviously I'm gonna go ahead and do a lot of this off camera because I'm by far not an HPA expert. I mean, this is gonna be my first HPA gun. Well, I do have a Daytona and a Tipman, but as far as taking an AG and dropping something into the gearbox, this is definitely a first for me. So I'm not going to give you advice because I don't know what I'm doing, honestly, but I'll link to videos that I'm using for reference that you could follow along. I don't believe in remaking stuff that's already been made well, so if there's a video out there, I'll rather link to it than take someone's idea and just redo it. And I'm also contemplating painting this whole thing, but I might do it when it's assembled. Let me know, what do you think? Should I keep it stealthy black, or should I paint it a tan color to better fit with the SoCal environment here? And generally, any environment, tan gun's gonna fit better than the black gun because I'll be using it outdoors. Alright guys, well, thanks for tuning into this video. Big thanks to Protech for sending me the unit that's gonna power this hopefully beast of a gun. And make sure you subscribe, stay tuned to the channel so you can catch all the progress as I go on, put this together, and eventually turn it into a functioning gun that of course will then get taken to a field and truly tested in a game. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.